Chinese food is one of America's favorite takeout options. Richmond executive chef Ausar AriAnkh's is back with us today here in the Virginia This Morning kitchen. He's got a lesson for us on making shrimp lo mein. Good morning, chef.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good to see you. I had to do a little research. Lo mein is Cantonese for stirred noodles.
Yes.
And but it's stirred noodles with so much more deliciousness in it.
Definitely.
Isn't it? So you don't have a wok going here today, but you were telling me that a wok has a particular way of cooking, and that's particular to Asian cooking.
Yes, the wok, it's able to transfer a lot of heat. If you ever go to a Asian restaurant or Chinese restaurant where you'll see they have a direct flame that's pretty much just blowing directly onto the wok, so it's able to generate temperatures up to 500 degrees, so you can cook things rapidly, very quickly, especially stir fries. So at home, if you don't have a wok, you can just use a pan that has a wide surface area, and you can still kind of get the same technique.
Well, it looks like the hardest thing to this is cutting everything up.
Yes, definitely. That's the most time consuming, but once you get the prep done, it's just executing the dish, and it doesn't take long at all. It's a saute dish, and saute just means to cook something rapidly in a small amount of fat, and that's it. So it's pretty quick.
You were telling me about these noodles. They're very particular to Asian cooking.
Yes, these noodles, they're called Asian egg noodles, and in the process of preparing them, they use a water that has a higher pH or alkaline level, which gives the noodle the possibility of absorbing more liquid. So when you cook with them, they'll absorb more of the flavor of the liquid that they're submerged in.
So they become the venue for all the flavors.
Definitely.
All right, well, let's cook.
Okay, so the first thing you want to do, there's a method to adding your ingredients. You want to put the onions in there. And the reason why you want to put the onions in there first, because you want to cook those down, absorb some, to get some of that sweetness or the caramelization out of those onions. So you put those onions in there first. The next thing we have here, I have some ginger and some garlic. I'm going to add that in there.
So this is where following a recipe comes in handy, because there's a reason and a method to the madness.
Yep, because you want to cook things at a certain time frame for a certain amount of time. And the fresher ingredients, as far as your greens and your veggies, you don't want to give too much heat to those because you don't want them to lose nutritional content or color.
And with the garlic, we have to be careful not to burn that. That's the big thing.
So, and one of the tricks you can do to prevent your garlic from burning, if you see it sort of getting to that point in your pan, you can go ahead and add some more additional ingredients. It'll lower the temperature of the pan.
Right. And when we're cooking, that's the key, is you want to keep the temperature up.
Very high. Like I was saying earlier with the wok in the Asian restaurants, it's very, very high temperature, and it, cooks quickly, rapidly. So you can see that the garlic is getting to sort of where it needs to be. So we can move on to the next ingredient. Not long at all. So next thing we're going to add is the broccoli. Broccoli, of course, it's a little bit more fibrous. It has a little bit more crunch, or, more bite to it, so you can allow that to have a little bit more time in your pan. So you see it, the color brightening up on you. So you just let that kind of do its thing. The next thing we can add to it is we can add some celery. Cool little thing about celery is that if you look at a piece of celery sort of looks like our bone structure, and similar to our bones, they're 23% sodium. And they're also primarily made up of silicon, which is what our bones are made up of. So.
Right. That sounds like a lot of sodium.
Yeah, well, it's different than table salt sodium. When it's already present inside of a fruit or a vegetable, it doesn't affect your body in the same manner.
Okay. So it's meant to be there.
Yes, it's meant to be there. It's not something added in. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we'll add some, carrots into that. I'll go ahead and put all the rest of the vegetables in there. I'll put the red on.
It's beautifully colorful.
Thank you. I'll put the red peppers in there. This is some Napa cabbage, and these are water chestnuts. Water chestnuts, a lot of people are not really familiar with them. They have sort of a similar texture to an apple or a pear.
Right, I use them for crunch in my chicken salad.
There you go. So now with that there, I'm going to create sort of like a little well in the middle, and I'll go ahead and add the shrimp to that.
And if we were cooking with a wok, that would be the bottom of the wok.
Yep, that would be the bottom of the wok. And then you would, the direct heat would cook that rapidly, and, it would be done within a minute. But, on TV, we'll pretend that that's a wok, and we'll just continue on with it.
That's
so
right.
We let that go, and that's it. It's a pretty simple dish. You add these ingredients. It's a one-pot dish, and just saute them. And then the last thing we're going to do, once we flip the shrimp over, the last part, we'll put the noodles in, stir it around, let some of that heat generate, into the noodle and then add the sauce.
What kind of sauce are you using today?
Okay, this sauce that I made, it consists of soy sauce. It has brown sugar in it, oyster sauce, rice wine vinegar, and that's it.
So again, a level of flavors, and because it's kind of sweet, it's going to give that dish some body to it.
Definitely, it's going to make it balance out, because you have the soy sauce, which has, you know, a saltier flavor, but then you have some brown sugar added to that kind of sweetens it up a little bit, makes it a little bit more balanced.
And the nice thing about this is that when you make it at home, you can leave out anything that you don't like, and then you can leave out things like the MSG and other things. And if you have, say, a seafood allergy, you could leave out the oyster sauce.
You can leave that out. You can substitute shrimp for chicken. You can just make it all vegetables. You can do kind of anything you want. So when you're at home, you know, the kitchen is your laboratory. You kind of do whatever it is you want to do.
Right. And you were talking about things that look like parts of our body. You were explaining the ginger.
Yeah, the ginger. If you look at ginger, you'll see it looks like intestines. And you know, a lot of the times if someone's not feeling well, they'll drink a ginger ale, and it helps with you know, nausea and things like that, because there's actually something in it called gingerol, which helps with nausea.
So there's really a method to the madness when you
definitely
drink ginger ale when you have an upset stomach.
When you're not feeling well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see that those shrimp are kind of right where we want them to be. They're curling up. The color's changed on them.
Does not take long at all.
Not at all. So go ahead. We're going to add the noodles now.
And is this the equivalent of 1 or 2 servings?
Oh, this could be for 2 servings right here. This is a pretty big one. I thought it would have been 2 of us on here. Two people along, you know, with us. So.
Well, you and I, you know, we can do that.
Someone will eat it. We know that,
for the two
right?
of us, that's right.
Someone will eat it. So we're just going to spread that out, and all we're looking for is the heat to transfer into the noodle, and then right at the very end, we'll go ahead and put the sauce in.
So we want that to be heated before we put the sauce in?
Yes, the noodle. You want the noodle to be hot before we add the sauce in, because the sauce has sugar in it, and the heat from the pan with the sugar will cause that sugar to burn or caramelize too much if you put it in at too early of a time.
Especially that high heat.
Definitely.
All right, well, for TV, we need to pretend that it's all heated
so
through.
There we go. We're going to add the
look like
sauce
molasses.
to it. There you go. Because it's reduced down, so it's, you know, a little bit thicker. And we're going to go ahead and combine that.
Move your plate over and get ready for the plating. And we're going to put this recipe up on our website by early this afternoon. Look at that, the chef flip.
Yep, so
I like that.
Real quick.
Just go to WTVR.com/VTM and we'll have this recipe up for you. So you don't have to order takeout. You can do this
right
at
at home
yourself. And it smells fabulous. And then you don't have all the extra cartons and everything to throw away.
And you don't have to wait for someone to deliver it.
Tip the delivery person.
Kind of keep it in your pocket. And then we're going to go ahead and just garnish it with some fresh scallions on the top.
And you've got a beautiful scallion bouquet here today with you as well. Chef Ausar, thank you so much for coming in today.